Hello, good evening, and welcome to the discussion of the comprehension part of CSAT paper of your 2023 Civil Service Prelims. So we will be discussing set B. So let us begin with the comprehension questions. The first question in set B, the first passage, it talks about segregation of municipal waste and waste to energy and certain other things. So hoping that you people have read the passage. Let's look at the questions. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Number one, collection, processing, and segregation of municipal waste should be with government agencies. So, if you look at the passage, they have not mentioned anything regarding government agencies or private agencies, who should have this, who should have that. Nothing of such sort is given. Only a little hint of municipal budget is the only thing that's given, and that doesn't substantiate your statement one. Okay, so statement one is to emphasizing that collection, processing, and segregation of municipal waste should be with government agencies. That is wrong. Statement two, resource recovery and recycling require technological inputs that can be best handled by private sector enterprises. Of course, they require technological enterprises, but again, your passage has not mentioned anything regarding handling of such things either by government or by private. So the answer for your question one would be D, Delhi. Question number two, they're asking for the crux of the given passage. So the crux of the given passage, A, generation of energy from municipal solid waste is inexpensive. It is not inexpensive. Nothing of such sort is given. B, biomethanation is the most ideal way of generating energy from municipal solid waste. Biomethanation, the word itself is given exactly in the passage, but can we call it the most ideal way? It is probably the ideal way for recycling the waste biodegradable components, not all. So calling it the most ideal way for generating energy from municipal solid waste is not the right answer. Okay, segregation of option C, segregation of municipal waste is the first step in ensuring the success of waste to energy plants. So if you look at the passage, they have been talking about segregation multiple times, and segregation is where the key lies in order to get the best out of it, the waste to energy thing, the most efficient form of deriving energy out of waste. It has to start with segregation. Segregation is the first step. Okay, so this has to be the crux. Let's see D anyway. The biodegradable component of India's municipal solid waste is not adequate to provide. Nothing of such sort. They haven't talked anything regarding the adequacy of this thing. So the answer for question 2 is C. Next passage, it's on organic farming. Question 3, they have asked some assumptions regarding organic farming. Assumption 1, organic farming is inherently unsafe for both farmers and consumers. No, they haven't said that it's inherently unsafe. Some components or some aspects of organic farming is deemed unsafe in the passage, but not inherently unsafe. Second one, farmers and consumers need to be educated about eco-friendly food. Some of you may think that this is right, but I personally feel that this statement is wrong because they have not mentioned eco-friendliness anywhere in the passage. The passage talks about the health of a man, health of humans perhaps, but nothing regarding the planet or the environment or being eco-friendly. So according to me, based on my experience with the previous year UPSC keys and questions, I would likely go for answer D, Delhi, for this question. Neither one nor two. They have asked for most practical message conveyed. In A, in India, organic farming should not be promoted as a substitute for conventional farming. There are some issues with the substitution. That's what's being talked in the passage. Should not be promoted. This one doesn't make sense. B. There are no safe organic alternatives to chemical fertilizers. We don't know that, and it's not given in the passage as well. C. In India, farmers need to be guided and helped to make the organic farming sustainable. So this seems to be a more diplomatic and bureaucratic way to summarize the passage. D. The aim of organic farming should not be to generate huge profits, as there is still no global market for its products. It's not been mentioned in the discussed in the passage, so D is also wrong. So the answer for this one is C. Next passage, we're talking about food consumption and malnutrition. So they have given certain assumptions. Question number 5. They have given 4 assumptions. So assumption number 1: to implement the sustainable development goals and to achieve zero hunger goal, monoculture agriculture practices are inevitable even if they do not address malnutrition. This part includes nutrition as well. So statement 1 is wrong. Reading it to the passage. Statement 2: dependence on a few crops has negative consequences on human health and the ecosystem. This one is right. Statement 3: government policies regarding food planning need to incorporate nutritional security. This statement is probably right. Let us keep it. Let's read 4. For the present monoculture agricultural practices, farmers receive subsidies in various ways and government offers remunerative prices for grains, and therefore they do not tend to consider crop diversity. So they haven't mentioned anything like subsidies, remunerative prices, etc. So statement 4 is wrong. So your answer should contain 2 but not 1 and 4. Let's look for such options. It should have 2 but not 1 and 4. So your answer should be B, Bombay, for this one. Question number 5, B, Bombay. Next passage, the passage regarding pollution in cities, nitrogen. Question number 11. They're asking for most logical, rational, and rational implication conveyed by the passage. So arbitrary curbs by on vehicles to reduce pollution are difficult. This one is wrong. It's not difficult to implement. Knee-jerk reactions. Actually, this one is the answer. Let's read the others too. C. A heavy penalty should be enforced on those driving without. This is too suggestive, and this cannot be the answer for something most logical and rational. D. In the absence of laws to deal with the problems of pollution, the administration tends to make arbitrary decisions. They haven't spoken anything regarding absence of laws or why the administration is doing so. Let's read B. Knee-jerk reactions cannot solve the problem of pollution, but an evidence-based approach will be more effective. If you read the passage, that's what they would have been talking about in towards the end. What is needed is scientific and reliable information about source. That's nothing but evidence-based. Okay. So answer for question 11, the pollution question, it's B, Bombay. The next question is corporate governance structure. Question 12. So they have asked for logical inference. A. It is an important agenda of countries around the world to ensure access to good external financing. So agenda of countries, it's not the agenda of countries, it's what the corporate is doing. It's for corporate governance. And B, good corporate governance improves credibility of the firms. This one probably looks right. International capital market ensure that the firms maintain good corporate governance. This one also seems a little right. D, good corporate governance paves the way for robust supply chains. They haven't spoken anything regarding supply chains. So let's look at our passage once. So investors look to place their fund where the standards of disclosure of timely and accurate financial reporting. So what investors are looking for? So which one do you think the answer could be? So it should be likely B, Bombay, which is talking about credibility of the firms. So for people arguing that C could be the answer for this, your option B covers C in itself. Okay, so if you do this, the subset C is contained within the set B. B is much broader, and hence the answer for this one, question 12. Answer is B, Bombay. Elephants or landscape architects. So elephant passage, they're asking for the most logical and rational inference that can be drawn. A home range of elephants need to be vast, so this is too narrow. Elephants are the keystone species. This one probably looks good, and it doesn't contain any extreme words, or it looks diplomatic. C, rich biodiversity cannot be maintained in the forest. It cannot. It's a little negative connotation, but it holds good. But let's think about it. Rich biodiversity cannot be maintained in the forest without the presence of elephants. Maybe some animal can replace that, but this one is much better than C. Just like the previous question, your option B is much broader than C. Let's look at D. Elephants are capable of regenerating forests with species as per their requirement. That one is wrong, not talked about in the passage. So for question 13, your answer is B, Bombay. So next question, next passage is regarding emissions and mitigation and how it will affect businesses. Question 21. Best, which of the following statements best reflects the crucial message conveyed by the author of the passage? It's somewhat similar to crux. Let's read statement A. Businesses that cause emission may need to close down or pay for pollution in future. It's somewhat similar to what's given in the passage. Choice between sharply reducing emissions at huge cost or suffering through the effects of unabated warming. It's somewhat similar. Let's not eliminate it. Let's look at B. The solution is a technological development. Solution is technological development related to the issue of climate change. Only solution is technological development related. Technological development may not come. That's what they have said in the passage. There is an uncertainty over it. C. Waiting to deal with carbon emissions until technology improves is not a wise strategy. This one holds much better than any of the other options. Relatively, C is much better, so it has to be the answer. So for question 21, the answer is C. Question 22. So it talks about environmental problems causing health problems. They're asking for the most rational assumption. We are likely to spend more money on cure than prevention. This one we cannot eliminate it because they're asking for an assumption. We can assume this. B, it is the job of the government to solve. So this one is wrong. They have emphasized that it is the job of the government, so it's not bureaucratic enough to be the right answer. So B is wrong. C, health can be protected even if environmental problems go on unattended. This too can be the answer. D, laws of traditional life. They haven't spoken anything regarding traditional lifestyle. So the answer should be A or C for this one. But I would personally go for A because right at the beginning of the passage, they have said environmental problems causes health problems. While C says health can be protected even if environmental problems go unattended. So I would go for A, but C2 may be the right answer. We are not sure yet. Okay. For 22, it can be either A or C. I would personally go for A. passage, question 23. The passage is about nutrition and healthcare. So they are asking for the crux of the passage. They haven't spoken about UBI. GM is also not mentioned in the passage. Fortification is also not mentioned in the passage. So no matter how general this looks, this is the only statement which holds good in the crux, in the light of the passage. Okay, so the answer for 23 should be B, Bombay. The next question is on water allocation. Which of the following statement best reflects the most rational, practical, and immediate action required to ensure fair and equitable allocation of water? So they are talking about fair and allocation, fair and equitable allocation of water to different stakeholders. What should we do to make this happen? Let's read A. National pragmatic, legal, and policy framework for water allocation should be made. This can ensure this probably. Let's read B. All river systems of the country should be linked and huge aquifers created. This sounds impractical. And C. Water channels between regions of water surplus and regions of water deficit should be created. This is also taking it too far. D. To mitigate water crisis, water demand of sectors such as agriculture and industry should be reduced. This is also taking it too far. So the answer for question 31 is A. Next passage, it's on Indian women, anemia, and again malnutrition. Question 32. They're asking for the implication. Best reflects what is implied by the passage. A. Education system must be strengthened in rural areas. It is a generic statement. B. Large scale and effective implementation of skill development program is the need of the hour. So the crux of the passage lies in health and how it's affecting education and in turn the social capital or our economy. C. For economic development, health and nutrition of only skilled workers need. Only skilled, no, this is an extreme word. Should have been wary of that. D. For rapid economic growth as envisioned by us, attention should be paid to health and nutrition of the people. So this is the right answer. Okay. So for question 32, the answer is D, Delhi. Next passage is on adaptation, climate adaptation in agriculture. They're asking for most logical and rational message conveyed by the author of the passage. So towards the end of the passage, they have given it here. It's not always enough for adaptation. Whatever they have said so far, it's not always enough. It is important how a farmer perceives the risk associated with it. So the answer should be easy for this one. Risk perception of farmers are important for motivating them for taking adaptation decisions. So answer for question 33 is C. The next passage for question 41 is it's talking about unemployment, but not exactly in a negative tone. So the author has said why unemployment is there. It's mainly because the quality of education or the standard of education has improved. A lot of people are graduating these days. That's the author's stance. So which one of the following statements most likely reflects as to what the author of the passage intends to say? So the answer should be B. Unemployment must be seen as a function of rising education and aspirations of young Indians. Okay, so question 41, answer is B, Bombay. Question 42. So science and philosophy. So this is a little tricky question, and it's too too big and too much to discuss as well. So I'll just say the answer. The answer for question 42 is A. Modern statesmen need to be well trained, and the other statements have some flaw in them. I'll just point out they haven't spoken about mixing of anyone. Very early age. All scientists need to be philosophers, and these are some extreme and absurd statements which make A the right answer. Okay, 42. The answer is A. 43. It's the usual question. Every year, at least one passage comes like this: the man versus state conflict, or why the state is there in the first place. And end of state, I repeat, is not to make rational beings into brute beasts or machines. It's to enable their bodies, minds function safely. So all this lead to one thing: liberty. So question 43, the answer is D, Delhi. So next question 51. It's regarding being spoiled for choices. They're asking for logical message implied by the above passage. Modern technology enfeebles societal structure and makes life difficult. Doesn't enfeeble societal structure. Modern life is full of uncertainties. This one is probably right. We are influenced by the opinion of others and have no courage to follow our own convictions. So this one is wrong. It's not talking about influence of others, but by the choices. In our lives, having too few choices may be a good thing, but having too many can be equally as difficult. So this one also holds good. So when there's a dilemma between D and B, you have to think which one is the broader set. So I think D would be the right answer because this is the broad set, as this can contain B within it. B is talking only about modern life, while this one is a little more general than that. So your answer should be D, Delhi, for 51. 52. So in this, they're asking for solutions that are implied by the passage. All the above solutions are right. All the given solutions are right, and nothing can be negated to be proved wrong. Question 53. They're asking for assumptions on this. Pharmaceutical patents. So the answer for this one is statement one is right. Dependence on other countries. So this one is wrong. They haven't spoken of that anywhere. Affordable. This one is also wrong. Government needs to find an appropriate balance between. So this balance is what's been implied in the passage. So your answer should be 1 and 4. B, Bombay, for question 53. Question 54. It's data protection. Assumption 1. Protection of privacy is not just a right, but it has value to economy. So this one is right because of this word here. Assumption 2. There is a fundamental link between privacy and innovation. Just because they have used privacy and innovation in the same line, it doesn't make it right. Innovation is not our usual innovation that's been mentioned in the passage. Data protection laws should enable the right kind of innovation. So, how it should protect us, that kind of innovation, not the scientific innovation. Okay. So, the answer for 54 should be A. Question 61. The passage talks about trees and how non-agricultural lands and trees there are helping in several ways. So they're asking for a rational message conveyed by the author of the passage. The answer should be D. Agro ecosystem should be developed in addition to our to or along with conventional agriculture. Let me show you why other options are wrong. Food yielding trees should replace. So this is the thing that makes A wrong. Food security cannot be ensured in India with the present practices of conventional agriculture. So we do have food security. This cannot is what's wrong there. Wasteland and degraded areas in India should be converted into agroforestry system to help the poor. This one is also not right, as it's taking it a little far away from the scope of the passage. So for question 61, your answer is D, Delhi. Next one, antibiotics. 62. The answer for this is A, because all other statements they don't make sense, and C and D are too absurd with the context of the passage, and B is too generic for the passage. Question 63, crux of the passage. The passage is regarding quality education. So the answer for this one is A. 63A. '71 regarding winter and spring, lengthening of spring. 71 assumptions have been made. Global warming is causing, they haven't mentioned global warming. Assumption 2, early spring and longer period of spring is not good for bird populations. We cannot say that it's not good for entire bird population. They've just mentioned one little thing, that birds don't return. We can't say that using this little information. So the answer for 71 is D, Delhi. Neither one nor two. The next passage talks about nitrogen use efficiency. They are asking for the crucial message implied by the passage. An enhanced use of nitrogen is imperative for both food production and environment. Right away, this one seems right. No, synthetic cannot be stopped as it will. So this is not the crux of the passage. Alternate that requires should be identified and cultivated. So this is taking it a little too far. Conventional agriculture using synthetic fertilizers should be replaced with agroforestry. So this one is also taking a little too far, and your answer for 71 should be A. 73. The passage talks about climate change summits and climate justice, essentially. For 73, the answer should be A. So why not B? C and D are absurd. Most of you would have eliminated C and D easily. Some of you may argue that B may be the right answer, but why do we go for A over B? Environmental resources are unevenly distributed and exploited across the globe. This may be true, but what's the message that's being conveyed? Climate justice is missing in the summits and compacts. So we need to ingrain that. So this one is directly the answer for your question. So for 73, the answer is A. So that's it, I guess. Thank you.